And we're back.
We're back.
Welcome, everyone, to Rod and Flagon. I, of course, am Oliver Redboots, and joining me, as always, is my stalwart compatriot, Swan Maulsmith. Tell everybody about yourself, sir.
I am Swan Maulsmith. I am the safety officer at the Temple of Gon. Praise Gon.
So I know you all may be asking yourself, why are these rocks speaking to us right now? Well, me and Swan have decided to share our knowledge and experience with all of the masses around the realms to help make you a better adventurer.
Yeah, we're longtime adventurers. We're not adventurers often anymore. We do occasionally go out, but
mostly by choice.
Mostly by choice.
And this show was, its infancy and its, well, it was directed. Let's just be honest. We shouldn't lie to people from the jump, right? I was directed by the magistrates to perform this service because of an incident with my sorcerer's powers, and I may or may not have blown up lots of stuff when casting simple magics.
Yeah, that happened.
Listen, I can't control my awesomeness sometimes. Sometimes it just exudes.
Never would I ask you to control your awesomeness, but there are some things we have to do as a result. If you break some dishes, you got to clean it up. We're here giving advice once a week from the Yawning Portal in Waterdeep, broadcasting through our rod of broadcasting to the Stones of Sparse Speech that we send to various corners around Faerun.
All of those. Lascan has one. Red Lodge has a couple. Neverwinter now has several.
You might be able to get one or build a Stone of Far Speech and tune yourselves in.
Yeah.
I'm not ruling that out.
All of that is on the table. And if you ever have any questions, just go see a Temple of Gon. I'm sure they can point you in the right...
We'll send the blueprints to the local temples.
Praise Gon.
You
And we love it when younger adventurers send us their questions.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
You can send a bird to me at Oliver Redboots or to just Rod in Flagon.
Yep.
And they can send one to you as well, right?
Yes, at S. Maulsmith or Smallsmith.
At S. Maulsmith.
That's right.
And again, as always, birds will probably not be returned.
Yes. Did you like the stew? I sent some stew over.
Oh my God, Lucinda makes one of the best stews I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's not fair to the rest of the world. For you, your wife. So for people that don't know, Swanee's wife is an extraordinarily powerful wizard. Also, amazing cook.
Amazing cook. Yeah.
You got a twofer, my friend.
I did. I gotta say, I lucked out. It's the little things.
Yeah, well, I think maybe me blowing your leg off could have resulted in one of the most positive things that's ever happened to you.
Yeah, it was a little dicey there. It was confusing to me as to why you belong to a temple and you get taken back to the temple and Gon decides you don't actually need that leg back, so you're.
Well, they did make you that really cool metal one.
Yeah, the metal one's dope.
Yeah, it is.
But it got me off the road and I met Lucy and it worked out.
It did.
I got no complaints.
It did. So for those, just to recap a few of the other episodes, I hope we have some new listeners this week. Swanee and I were a party of adventurers, for God's 20 years or so.
More, I think.
And, we dealt with the ups and downs of wild magic for many centuries. And now, well, it caught up with us.
You caught up with us. You can't do it forever. So yeah, you can send us a bird to Rod and Flagon, or to Oliver Redboots, or to S. Maulsmith. And tell a friend. We're not opposed to...
Please, yes.
To, let people know that we're out giving advice. We're trying to pass along some wisdom.
I feel like there's a lot of more newer adventurers out there on the road.
Yeah, which is nice to see.
Yeah, the shops have been really busy.
Yeah.
I heard that there's a new edition of adventuring that came out a few years ago that's very, very popular.
Yeah, it really got people reinterested, and yeah.
And the old god is, it's time for us to kind of step aside and maybe just let the younger adventurers have their turn.
Absolutely. Pay it forward. Can I say...
What's up?
So, again, we're big fans of letting people know about the show. We're big fans of passing along advice. Verbal's better to let people know about the show. Don't go necessarily writing on the walls of bathrooms about the show.
Wait a minute. Are you seeing a lot of graffiti specifically for Rod and Fag?
A couple... I don't know if you saw in the Yawning Portal.
I haven't been to the privy yet. Are you suggesting that there's someone who's writing? Are they writing Oliver and Swan rule or something like that?
They were advertising the show.
Nice.
Rod and Flagon, Yawning Portal, about this time. It was weird. It was unexpected that they were,
I'm just happy that someone's listening.
It wasn't your handwriting. I checked. I know your handwriting. I thought, well, that'd be clever if that was...
If it was me, that was
you,
right on the privy wall.
Yeah. So maybe do it, word of mouth. Or send a bird to your friends.
Hang on. You think that I would doodle on the bathroom stall while I was in there?
You wouldn't?
No, of course not. I wouldn't. What kind of human being do you think well, that's not important. All right. So I know last week I mentioned that we had guests.
We do.
Right? So I think I see them coming in. So I think it's important that we pause and we write back with our guests.
Yeah.
They're here. And you are going to shit. I'm so fucking excited.
All right.
All right. So first of all, I know it's a little weird. That
Yeah, this is okay.
I know. You just had to trust me on this one. And I'm sorry, fellas, that that they almost didn't let you in because, well, you know, they don't like children typically in the Yawning Portal. But I had them. Wait. So, Swan.
Yeah.
You know how we talked about there's legacy families of kobolds who live in dungeons and who reset the traps and all of that nonsense,
of course.
right? So this was quite a bit more ubiquitous than I had anticipated. I
Okay.
thought you had just dipped into the holy water. I'm doing the parentheses thing,
Yeah,
or the I'm doing the quote thing, and you can't see it. But I thought you just had too much of the holy water. Turns out it's fucking true, man. Not only is it fucking true, it's literally the thing. Not only that, but there are lists of kobolds who will sell you pieces of dungeon that you can renovate and make your own. No,
What?
hey fellas, you can drop the disguises while you're at the
Oh,
table.
thank you. It's sometimes
Oh my-
quite a challenge. Yeah, see,
Yes.
we normally like to go into bars where there's a lot of children because we have to dress as human children.
How you know
Sometimes
it's a good place.
people don't necessarily. I'm green and scaly. You know, a lot of people like health departments and bars sometimes
a lot
get.
of weird looks.
Hang on,
You-
there are other
where-
bars in. Please.
There
go.
are two kobolds.
Two
at
kobolds.
the table with us.
Yes, I met these lads almost a couple few hours after the show last week.
All right.
I had to look into this thing.
Okay.
So I asked around, and they were the ones that came with the most recommendation.
And we're trying to really get the word out. You see, we have a project where we're trying to let other people know about these services because there's a lot of misconceptions about this. So we're trying to commission a series of stories for bards to tell about me because I'm Hugo Swede.
Yes, and I'm Edwin Swede.
And together we are going to sweeten the deal. And it's
Right? Yes, you can buy a dungeon from them.
You can buy Dungeon
You
V.
renovate your own dungeon. You can't
Swanee,
just have the same traps you had last time.
So
Wait. Okay, my head hurts. What? You sell dungeons?
Well, think about it. You're an adventurer, right? Did you ever stick around after you looted whatever magical swords or rings or...
We never stuck around.
No,
we
not
always
really.
just took the rings and took the swords and left.
And that's one of the things you can count on. Once they take anything shiny, they'll just get right out. But the real value
Oh,
is in real estate.
it's the property itself.
The prophecy of real
Look at
estate.
the craftsmanship in those walls. Beautiful.
So can I ask a technical question?
Yes,
Sure.
of course.
Who is your number one purchaser? Like if you had a target audience, who would you say that the target audience is?
We have a couple of
high-profile
high-profile
clients
clients we
who-
can't necessarily talk about.
They don't like a lot of sunlight or windows,
Yeah,
really,
that's it.
and
Wink, wink.
really sunlight or windows into anything like
Well,
that.
yeah,
Sorry,
but
I've just
how
been...
the fuck would you get sunlight or windows into a goddamn?
Yeah, are windows better or worse? I'm confused.
Well, you don't want some. That's why. So you have to board everything up. If there's a lot of houses, you have to board up a lot of windows. But in the dungeons, sometimes some shafts of light can kind of come through a little bit. So, a
So
lot
then
of
you
repairs.
want most of your purchasers are the purchasers, right? Out of the clients, I don't know. What
Clients,
it is.
yeah, clients,
yeah,
purchasers,
clients, yeah.
whatever they.
Most of those people then would then be what type of person or thing?
We get a lot of cults, a lot of cult
Yeah.
traffic.
Cults
I
pay
I knew it. Did
Yeah.
I not say it?
Yeah.
I knew it. Cults.
See, I didn't know how this worked at all. I just assumed that if you were a cult, you went scouting for an empty dungeon and you just squatted. But
Oh, that's not what it's not like at all. It's some bozo with 4 of his buddies who comes and says, "Oh, we need a clubhouse to go, draw runes on the ground."
Hang on. So some cults will actually call their dungeon the clubhouse.
Well, it's more of an insider joke. They're looking for a clubhouse. So when you talk about cults, there's different categories of
Yeah.
real estate that they can afford. So we usually count how many people,
So
right?
I mean, that's one of the big differences between a religion and a cult. Is just the number of people that believe in it, right? So what was the number? It's
it was 50.
Yeah,
In Waterdeep,
50.
you need
Russ?
50 to get tax protected status.
Oh, geez, I haven't remembered that since I was doing Domestomancy school. You see, I'm a Domestomancer. It's hospitality magic.
So making the beds and things like that.
Well, it's a lot of that, I can kind of clean things up. I can't really do sort of like a hero's feast, but I can make hors d'oeuvres. Just really kind of more
Pigs into blankets. That's so yummy.
anything bigger than
anything with meatballs. You think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
You're
we
very
love
could you eat some
meatballs,
kobold
obviously.
meatballs. You've never had a kobold meatball
I
before?
mean, I've only heard rumors.
Are they as magical as people say?
Well, I had a couple in my pocket right here. If you want,
I would love one.
Okay, yes,
Right,
sir.
you
So
know, I-
just
yeah.
lays them out right here
Thank
and
you. Oh yeah.
get the sauce.
I love the
Get-
tiny swords.
Get some sauce. Yep.
Tiny swords you can pick them up with.
Well, we just have so many swords laying around. Every adventurer just wants to pay you in swords. No one has gold. Magic items. But what? I'm gonna take this and then resell it somewhere?
Yeah, I guess you have
That's
like a.
highly impractical.
Yeah.
It's a cottage industry, I would imagine.
It's-
Of adventurers who who were perished in the dungeon. I imagine that you
Oh, the bones are incredibly valuable.
Really?
So valuable.
Ooh,
yes.
the bones,
Oh.
yes, of course.
Wait, who's buying the bones?
Necromancers mostly.
Those lazy bastards.
It's yes, you know. I don't think I've seen.
That's a spooky vibe.
It really does. We have to do a lot of staging, but sometimes
Yeah.
you know we make it.
have to
They're not smart. So,
Okay.
You have to
How do you
stage for a
stage? How do you
necromancer?
stage
yeah,
a dungeon?
so what we do
If
is
you want to sell it, you can't just have it be empty. You want to make it feel lived in. You
But
know?
bones are expensive, or died in. A lot of died in. So we'll go to like a place like this, and be like, oh, you know, a butcher. I'm sure you have a lot of like pig bones, because like I don't need like 30 human skeletons. That's a lot of overhead, but it still has to look the part. So,
Overhead?
overhead, yes. You know, a lot
I see where
of
he's going with this. Yeah.
you know, there's a lot
Margin.
of
Can't
lot
keep
of
your
things.
costs low.
You have a lot of bones hanging from the ceilings. The bones are hanging overhead. It's an industry term.
Oh,
I
okay.
builds it, he sells it. It's beautiful.
Is that how it
contract
goes?
magic is absolutely amazing.
Absolutely,
Wait,
yes.
so
Yeah.
you do contract magic?
I
He
do
does.
contract magic. He's really the master craftsman.
I'm here for the stones.
Oh, so you actually will design the traps?
I'm the designer. Yes, that's
So do you have to dig the pits, or are the pits usually
Yeah.
already there?
It's really annoying. Everyone, the worst is when someone's like wants to move the pit a little further over, so you have to fill in the old pit and then dig the new pit.
It's always a bad
It
day when
takes
that
so
happens.
long.
What if the spear traps are just like slightly too low, and you know you're only going to get even the
What
dwarves
makes a
in their
good spear
knees?
trap?
You know, it's really
The hole?
aerodynamics. Yeah, you want to make sure it's speedy.
See, I would have
A
thought it
slow
was a
spear
specific
trap
kind of
is the
wood,
worst.
but no.
It's the sprinters breaks. The thing is, they go and then you have to go down and reset it, and it's like,
Oh.
oh well, if it's going to kill someone. There's a lot of spears. Like, if you look at most spear traps, you'll usually see about 8 or 10 broken spears at the bottom. Most people don't really look at that stuff,
Yeah.
but we take it and sell
You
it.
don't want to
and-
lose a henchman resetting a trap. That's a waste. That's
So-
why we build in little back doors. Everything can be reset.
This is all coming together now.
So smart.
I didn't believe you. I
No,
haven't.
I didn't know about this whole industry. This is amazing.
Well, let's
Oh,
think
so-
about. Yeah, no.
I just want to ask, like, your clientele.
Yes.
Right. So I, as an extraordinarily powerful sorcerer, I would like to purchase a lair. Right.
Yes.
So, and one of my purchase options could, in fact, be one of your dungeons.
This is true.
Is it based on like levels, or is it based on like rooms in the?
There's
in
a
each
lot
floor?
of factors, like if it's close to some good like visiting schools. I know a lot of sorcerers want their children to either grow up and maybe get bullied and turn to a life of darkness. So usually some sort of like good schools are. If there's some sort of nerdy looking sorcerer, like usually he wants to go to
hey,
some.
man,
So there
Location. It's all location.
Are there areas that are primed for dungeonification?
A dungeonification.
Mountains are good. Lots of area to work with. I mean, if you're gonna have a dragon, you probably need a mountain.
And yes, there's a lot of upsizing we do. Someone gets, I found 6 magical tigers in a dungeon that hatch from a statue, but they grow up and get big, and then
don't
it
think about
outgrows the
that.
size.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
They need a place to live, feeding, water.
So do you have
Bathrooms?
is it to get adventurers to come into one of these dungeons? Do you just like advertise and say like we have
Yeah, how does
6
one-
magical
It's
tigers?
word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Is it
Lots
all
of,
word
lot
of
of
mouth?
word of mouth.
Lots
We
of it.
so we have to go to the cartographer guilds and get a lot of it put on
Yes.
maps, and you just.
But you have to be vague, right? You can't just be like, here lie a dungeon where you can
Yeah.
make your fortune.
Well, that's we pay a lot of bards to.
Breadcrumbs.
breadcrumbs. All right.
So we pay a lot of bards, and so a lot of the legends that you hear that claim to be 500 years old. Those are maybe 2 months old
Yeah.
at best.
So you're flipping a dungeon?
We flip dungeons, so we pay the bards to advertise and sing songs about, there might be some dragon loot, but it was just really a skeleton clubhouse from that cult that we just kind of cleared out. And
So like all of those like remodel like so I subscribe to DGTV. I don't know if you've
yes,
heard
of
that.
course, yes. No,
Right, where you
the
get your idea.
Domestomancers
Yeah.
have several programs.
Right. So I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, I have
It's-
not.
It's dungeon guides, travelers, and visitors. Right.
Oh, all right.
It's
Makes sense.
amazing. It'll tell you all about the local
Lucy might say.
dungeon.
Maybe if you heard of Volo's Guide to Monsters, that was
Yes, of
originally
course.
aired on DGTV
I
when he
knew
was
that.
going
Yeah,
around
but
reviewing.
he's kind of been cliche, right?
It's a little
like-
a little trite. Like how many? I know beholders. They got the eye beams. Like I've
Yeah.
got that
All
on
right.
lock.
Yeah, we all know about the blood war. For Christ's sakes, fellows, sit down. But anyway, so I
Yes.
wanted to purchase this,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm just curious, is like if you were to lay out a single, like let's call it a 4.
Well, what's your budget? What
Yeah.
do you
What
do?
you
What kind of
working with?
sorcerer are you? Are
Yeah.
you like the hedge magic making potions kind of sorcerer? Or are you the like?
Well, if I'm being honest, my magic is powerful, but I can do a lot of it.
Of course, you're very powerful.
It's
yes, I
it's
see
just
that. So strong.
slightly unreliable. So like I tend to cast a spell and then one will just be cast. Like last week, for example, I was blue, and I had a bird feather beard for I don't know, Swan. You didn't actually see it, right?
Oh no, you showed up with it.
It was,
so you've-
and then
you
I,
blew-
I fucking sneezed, man. I sneezed, and then the bird feathers went everywhere. But like,
So allergies are something that
Okay, yeah,
there's a
take
factor
that
for
down,
you.
Take
So
that down. Good ventilation is key. Honestly, it's one of the things that people don't think about in your dungeon. You're
dwarves
mixing
never
up-
think they think everyone wants to live in a cave, but it's like sometimes the breath of fresh air in a dungeon can be.
Oh, so
you know,
nice.
quite
Okay,
nice.
so all right, this is a good question. So mold is bad then.
I mean, some mold is good. If mold that you want is good, but mold you don't want is bad.
Wow.
See, it's mostly for staging purposes. That's
Yeah.
really where we put some mold out, crumble a lot of the stonework, but where
Yeah.
where a lot of orcs live is actually quite nicer than they present and would want you to believe.
Yeah,
All
they-
of them sleep in beds.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen an orc sleep on the ground in his
Yeah.
life, but they have to put on appearances.
Yeah.
Adventures are coming.
The
I mean,
facilities
I'm not
are
gonna lie to
bad.
you. Most of the orcs that I know, really bougie.
They rub dirt on their face 5 minutes before they're going to fight.
It's
to make them look
mostly
scary.
an act. No, you didn't know
Okay.
that?
No,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
of
no.
course.
Orcs are one of the most civilized. Actually, they're quite friendly.
They're very clean.
Just,
It's
you know,
all
they,
an
they
act.
just
Very
have a
clean.
thing, right?
Very
I think
clean.
I'm telling you, it's the orc
Branding.
unions. They're geniuses over at the orc union. They really have a lot of key behaviors kind of locked
knew it.
down.
We are strong union members, though. We are big fans of unions.
We're the kobold union.
So can I ask you a question then?
Yes, of
And
course.
I just want you to be honest with me.
It's the only thing I could know how to do is be
I-
honest with you, unless it's a contract.
Elves.
Elves.
So the thing is with elves is that all elves want a really big kitchen.
Just a
They're
huge
really just a
kitchen. I
giant
don't
sprawling.
understand.
And
But why?
well, that's the thing. It's like, well, how about instead I give you a cup with maybe 4 grains of salt that you'll use in your entire life, and then maybe we can save, 7 pieces of gold. Or we can go do this song and dance, and when you say it's not right and your food is bad, I can't blame it on your heritage. But I'll tell you, I'll eat orc cooking before I'll eat elf cooking any
I knew
days
it.
of
See,
any days
yeah.
of the week.
If
Yeah.
nothing else comes out of this the entire encounter, that orcs, by and large, better than elves.
Oh,
if I
very
had,
much.
if there was an orc in the bar right now, we'd all be singing f***ing songs and having a great time. If there was an elf in there, he'd probably be in a corner brooding, looking for someone to give a quest to.
Oh, instead of a lively discussion, it would be a debate. You've never heard orcs debate. The
I-
elves debate all the time.
Well, I
and-
think it's mostly because if they have a debate, they'll just,
And
they'll just
that-
they'll just go outside and have a fisticuffs.
yeah, and then they get back to the fun. But elves, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, let's spend 2
Yeah, they
hours
brood.
talking
They'll
about what
brood
book
for
I read.
a fucking 100 years. They'll brood.
Do elves have a lot of time to be petty?
They really do. See, I knew
Orcs, they live the briefer, and they live a more beautiful life, in my
Very
opinion.
present. I love elves.
I could not have predicted this if I was.
No,
had
this is
tried,
great.
Without
this is
you telling
mind-blowing.
me that there was a legacy family of kobolds living
Right.
in that one dungeon. Mm-hmm. Never in a million fucking years, Swanee. I have to be honest.
I have a question.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What's the entry level dungeon going for now? Like, what's the median dungeon fixer upper?
Let's say within a few square miles of Waterdeep.
I mean, demand is high. People are in the market. It's really a seller's market right now.
I really think that's because of the new edition of adventuring came out, right? And
Yes,
a
of
lot
course.
more people are out there getting it done.
I mean, also the floating castle probably drew some attention.
Right, yes.
And-
Have you guys heard about the thing with the giants and there was a floating castle over Waterdeep for a while? It's gone now. I don't know if you guys come up.
It's off the market, or is it no
Did you get
longer?
the right? So you weren't the ones that were selling the.
No,
floating castle.
we would mostly stay in underground real estate. It's a
Underground,
different
yeah,
type of
that's
licensures that you need.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
the
you need
flying, the
insurance?
flying licenses?
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
so
You
much
dungeon
money.
insurance? Are you kidding me? Like, of course you need dungeon insurance.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that in case just like a mind flayer should show up all of a sudden?
well, let's think about it here. If I have, 900 candles lit in my cult spot, one of those is pretty likely that one of those is about to get knocked over. And when you have so many documents and religious
And
texts,
yes, you're not right. I guess
not
cults,
lying. Not
cults
lying.
are unusually unreliable, right?
Very
Candles
clumsy.
are expensive. They're a lot of money.
We
You
spend-
you really think about a couple
How
of gold
long
each?
do those fucking candles last
Not
you?
long.
Not long.
Really? Who's replacing all those fucking things?
Exactly.
there's, you've heard of create water, create food. Sometimes we can create beeswax. It's a very
Yeah.
specific brand of druid. Some of the bug druids. The bug druids will do it for the right price.
But you as a what is it? What
I'm a
kind of-
Domestomancer.
Yeah. So does it Domestomancer? Can you like?
I can make them
produce
smell
candles?
nice. I can only make them smell nice. So I
So
can.
you're why everything smells like vanilla.
Yes, absolutely. So I get the wax, and then I use the wax to turn them into the candles and make it smell like something that isn't theirs. Usually vanilla, because
Or like cinnamon muffins. That oh man, Swanee. You do remember when we went into that dungeon and I said, "Wow, this really
It was
smells
weird.
Like
I
somebody,
was-
so is someone baking?
Maybe it
in
just
there?
flipped. Maybe the dungeon just turned over. And
No, it was a fucking beholder. And he tried to kill all of us.
but you remember the smell first. That's what you remember,
Yeah,
doesn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Honestly, the first thing I do remember is the smell, and then I remember you hitting it in the eye with your maul.
Yeah.
Now,
I
did
mean,
you happen to notice if there was a small table of spinach puffs out in front as well.
Yeah. There's little
I
signs.
did
So
not
one
know
of the things that's the
signs.
most frustrating is if we want the dungeons to feel homey, and a lot of people make changes
To
after
be
we
fair,
leave.
we had a rogue at the time, and he would go ahead a little bit.
That's true.
So that
He liked the Spanish puffs.
and this motherfucker stole everything from us.
But rogues do have their value. So when we go and scope out a place, usually we bring we call them trap auditors. And every rogue I've ever talked to, Sati, was the best at finding traps, disarming traps.
So
Every rogue.
smart. Yeah,
You
get
want
in
to talk
there.
about insurance needed for
Well, there's a reason we don't do insurance for those rogues. But there's a sealed off door. We're like, oh, it just picks the lock. We'll get you in
turnover,
there.
right behind
turnover
you,
in that
don't worry,
industry.
Hans.
Turnover in that industry has to be out for this like.
I haven't opened a chest first, and I would say
I don't blame you.
30
I don't blame
years
you.
of my tiny kobold life. I don't think I've ever done it.
But-
It's a fool's game.
No, that's literally why you pay the rogue, and you have to pay the rogue
Yeah.
tax to do that. I get it.
I can't tell you how many of those rogues we went through.
Oh my god.
Trap
You gotta check
auditors.
that chest out. All right, we need a new rogue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, we should probably not touch that chest.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should freshen up our drinks. How you feel
You
about
guys
that?
gonna stick
Swanee?
around?
You guys
Yeah.
want to stick around for another half?
Yeah, do you want another meatball or two?
I would love
Because
it.
I'm getting
Actually,
a bit
we know how-
peckish.
And we should probably tell Darren that there's some kobolds in the bar. I don't think he'll normally have. He doesn't have a problem with that kind of stuff. But
No, he won't.
We'll let him know. We'll have some meatballs.
We'll get you some drinks.
That
Yeah.
sounds delicious.
Oh, it's delightful. Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right, back.
All right, and we're back.
We're back.
Hey guys, I just want to say thanks for joining us at the second half of the show. It really means a lot to us that you would sit down with us and share your stories. This is invaluable training for young adventurers. They need to know that these things exist.
And I'm glad that you're willing to listen to some of our experiences. Now, of course, there have been some trade secrets we haven't
Yeah.
necessarily been able to divulge.
This is not shit you can
have some
find in a
NDAs.
manual. No, not something you can find in a manual. And I do want to say, Swanee, we do have a sponsor this week.
We do?
We do. Potion Crate.
Oh, potion crate.
Right, it is every month they will send you a batch of potions to get your stats fixed.
We're actually subscribed at my
Yeah.
house.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What'd you get last week?
Let's see. We got heroism, which
Heroism's always pretty good.
is pretty good. I mean, I haven't found a use for that particular one yet. Oh, a jumping potion.
Jumping.
Yeah, I had to clean the gutters, so that was useful.
chore potions. So, you're out for out in the yard, it's a hot day, drinking some jumping potions. Do you drink your potions hot or cold? I know that can be kind of
I'm a hot
divisive.
potion man, yeah.
All year round, I
It
drink.
sort of depends.
You heat them up first?
Well, yeah, you put it over the fire for a little bit, let it get warm. I mean,
A
we
warm
rock in a lot.
potion on a cold day. It's beautiful.
It's like, kind of like soup, but magic.
Yeah, I like my con potions warm. That's sort of a nice, good feeling.
So since they've been our sponsor, they gave me a free box last week.
Okay.
Oh.
And I got a minor healing potion at a major savings.
Oh, we
yeah,
all like
nice.
to
There
save
you go.
it,
That's
I
our
mean.
tagline. Please do subscribe. Potion Crate. They'll send it to your home. You'll be able to open it up and take some and go go leaping around the yard. I
Yeah.
guess like Swanee.
Get those leaves,
I do have one that has a giant toenail in it, and I got to tell you, I'm really not keen on drinking a toenail. I don't care what kind of magical properties it has.
You know what they say? Better ingredients, better potions.
Yeah, well, that was actually Uncle Willie's thing for a very long time, right?
Oh,
You
yes,
guys-
of
you
course,
guys know
yeah.
Uncle Willie, and everybody goes to Uncle Willie and Waterdeep to get it. I don't want to turn this into an Uncle Willie ad, too, but if
I
you
mean,
want
is
the
he
best-
paying you?
No,
Yeah,
no,
but
it
he's a
wasn't
friend
that.
of the show.
Okay, he's a friend
So
of the show.
and I'm positive that Potion Crate uses mostly Uncle Willie ingredients anyway. So it's it's a backhanded.
Oh, you know what? I think we have used Uncle Billy. We've gotten some reagents for making portals. When we make
Portals. Don't get us started on fucking portals.
once you get him started about portals, he won't
Everyone
stop.
wants a big fucking portal. You don't need a big portal. Just a little portal's fine. You know how long it takes to build a whole giant fucking portal?
Well, especially
I mean,
It's
it's true. It's not a
incredibly
quick.
inconvenient.
Well,
and then
everyone-
what? Who's going to come through that?
probably like some sort of giant demon, right? So it's the
That's
thing.
bad.
Yes, well, if you have a big portal, then the demon can come through easier. But if you have a little portal, you can usually only get like a finger,
A little
maybe
hand
a
in there.
toe,
That's
but
much
not-
more manageable.
It kind of holds
That's
him
also
back.
much more fucking menacing. I don't want to see a hand porting out the
Better than a whole
Yeah.
demon coming through.
Fair.
I don't know. I think it's that's almost scarier.
Well, it's
And
like-
I don't understand. At what point in the dungeon design process is saying I'd love a portal here, but I want that portal in this closet, and then I want it to lead to Avernus. Who makes those fucking decisions?
And that's the thing is that the magic is quite sophisticated. So I mean, you ask my friend here, and if someone bumps a stone, and then some terrible things could
God.
happen.
Next thing you know, you're on the other side of the world. You're in the nether realm.
Yeah, it's happened to us.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
and Swan have been transported against
Couple
our
times.
wills.
We went down Undermountain and walked into
Sigil?
a room. Boom,
Yeah.
sigil.
And Icewind Goddamn Dale was so
Oh,
fucking
God.
cold.
Iceland Ale. Jeez, that's
I
quite
almost
cold.
lost a fucking toe.
Well, maybe you could have turned it into a good potion at least.
That would explain why the
A lot of people.
Shoddy workmanship on a portal is very dangerous.
They were like, what if it doesn't send the whole U, right? If it only sends like the
and
top half. Yeah.
That's the worst.
Oh my god, that would be terrible. Well, I guess you would just die. That
Yeah,
wouldn't
you
be
got
bad.
left behind. Sorry, we are so funny over here.
Oh, you know what else? Your meatballs are delicious as well. Like I just,
Yeah,
I just
they're
can't,
quite
I can't
nice.
get over, like,
I feel based on the history of this show, though, we need to ask what kind of meat that is.
No,
You don't
no,
want to
No,
know.
you
we
don't
don't.
want
No,
to
we don't.
know. You don't
No, we
want
don't.
to know.
It's better to just taste it. It's
yeah.
delicious. Why ask questions you don't want answers
But
to?
a completely unrelated tip to any adventurers that do lose any appendages, you should save them because you
could
never
be
know
useful.
when your finger could turn into the next potion that could save your life.
Oh, it's going to love winning.
It's
Is
mostly
this going to be the fate of us on this show?
I mean, listen.
but recycling is a problem for you.
Upcycling, more like it.
I know several druids that would be quite upset if you said something. I mean, or maybe I'd say a necromancer if they got off the couch.
I'm just really proud that our kobold friends are composters.
Right? Oh, yeah, for sure.
They take
That's the way to go.
something that was unwanted and then they turn it into something valuable. Like that is entrepreneurship. That is the thing. That is the spirit that we should be celebrating in Waterdeep.
That's why we're trying to get the brand out there. We want people to know about it.
So what's the name of your company? I'm sorry.
Sweeten the deal.
So if I wanted to utilize your services, how would I get in touch with you?
So
Is there a series of back alley like contacts we need to make, or are you advertising on DGTV?
well, you should reach out to one of the bards who might be able to put you in contact. So it's like if you, I know,
Use the
I
bird-based
know.
communication
don't-
system. as
Oh, the
well.
bird bait.
Oh
Okay.
yes, we do use birds. Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Mostly
as
birds.
a reminder to everyone who we came back from break, you can send your birds to me at Oliver Redboots or to at Rod and Flagon if you have questions for the show. And Swanee, I'll let you give yours.
I'm at S. Maulsmith. And if you send us birds for the Sweden the deal, gentlemen,
Yeah, we'll happily read
we'll
them.
happily redirect those.
Oh yes, that sounds quite nice.
delightful,
You know,
yeah.
if you're trying to wonder like how much this property should be sold for. You know, we'll
We
tell
do
you how many
appraisals, yeah.
swords it could be,
Quotes.
gold coins it could be sold in.
So at a percentage basis, like how many of your clients are necromancers?
I could tell you what percentage of my clients that pay me that are necromancers, and it's quite low. But
Really?
yes.
Are necromancers
love to-
normally deadbeats?
Oh wow! Yeah.
Oh,
No bones about it, my friend.
All right, I should have known that too. So cults and necromancers.
A lot of cults and necromancers, but I would say that that's probably about 40% of our business.
I love working with cults.
But
oh, so
really?
nice. Yeah,
Well, 'cause
they're
there's-
great.
There are some big projects that take a while, you know, like
Yeah.
we had to build a labyrinth for a minotaur, and that took us quite some time.
I never again. Interviewing the minotaurs at the end was the worst part.
It's
Oh my God.
absolutely verse.
You know how hard it is to find a good minotaur these days? Who wants to live in the maze?
Do you know how hard it is to find a minotaur that can remember an answer to its own riddle?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how difficult? First you have to
Oh.
find the thing, then you have the
God,
riddle, and
you
he's like,
train it.
geez,
So
maybe...
is that why it's a riddle? Is it's basically unanswerable, or they've just forgotten
Oh,
the answer to it?
that's a real estate trick if I've ever seen one. We'll give someone 4 or 5 unrelated statements in a mechanism and tell
I
them
love that.
it's a riddle, and then just let them spend the time.
They're just pulling the
knew it.
lever. It
Slowing
doesn't
it
do
down for-
anything. Just
And
6
hours.
buttons.
Cults of all things are your favorite clients have?
They have a clear vision.
They know
That's
quite
true.
easy.
That's tight.
They know exactly what they want. They want a temple, right? They want some type of large statue of,
Yes,
of
it's
Moloch or
Yeah.
Asmodeus or whatever the f- it is. And then they want like a room, I'm sure like a guest chamber.
Yes,
Maybe
that's a
big
guest
room.
chamber.
perhaps
Yeah.
there's torture or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know.
They-
Who are we to judge?
They are big fans of the open concept dungeon, which is just the worst idea. I don't.
it's terrible
God, it's
from a
such
design
terrible
Is that
standpoint.
just like a room?
It's
or-
just a giant room. It's terrible planning.
Because you can run straight to the end, you see. It's like, there might be some pit traps and stuff, but, that's another thing is you want to have your pit traps, pretty close, but not like too close to the bathroom because you want it to be able to
Oh,
drain
in the middle of the night.
into there.
Oh,
it's the
God.
worst. Like,
That's the worst. I hate hitting a pit trap.
So last week we were talking about adventuring parties
Yes.
and their compositions.
Yeah.
And we made the observation. Maybe you guys can validate this, or tell us we're wrong. I don't really know. It's your area of expertise. In some of the dungeons that we adventured in, the beginning part there was like there was sort of a brawn part, and then immediately after that there was a brainy part.
Oh yes, that's right. Is that a design aesthetic or?
It
is
sort
that
of ensured that if you had a party of barbarians, they weren't getting past the brainy part generally. and had a party of just wizards, they weren't getting past the brawny part. I didn't know if that was sort of a design
Hard for their
decision.
spindly little arms
It's-
to open the doors.
Well, it's for better quality, loot usually, because like if you could have a bunch of like, I love barbarians, but they usually don't have very deep pockets. They usually have maybe like one sword or something. So if it's like a brawn-based trial, like that's good because that has to protect usually the wizards who have like the real
They have some
valuable, a
money.
lot of gold.
But this was big back at DungeonCon a couple of years ago. There was just everyone was all about like, I want 3 phases. Everyone was talking about this idea: brawn, brain.
and then there's some sort of
I
hard
do
trial, and
wanna-
that's usually where you
yeah,
get some
spirits.
because most adventurers
Everyone
usually
loves
aren't
the
as good
hard
as they
trial.
think they are. So it's like, you might be able to, summon a fireball or lift up something really heavy, but can you atone for your past, transgressions?
Doubt it. My favorite is the
you have to
chest. with
justify
just-
your own self-worth in a dungeon as part of the trap. Like,
That's the
This is
toughest
another
part
good
of all.
reason that we're not doing adventuring anymore.
oh my God, the game has really changed.
Oh,
The
wow.
real treasure is what you find inside your heart. I
Oh,
always
I
say.
love that. I have the big treasure chest at the end and just a little piece of paper, the friends along the way. That's what's inside.
We actually invented that
Oh,
trick.
it's so
We don't
funny.
get credit for it,
Oh,
but we
yeah.
invented it.
We did.
Live, laugh, love, self-reflect.
Oh, the signage. See,
Oh,
you must
the
have seen some of
signage.
our other
Yes.
things.
Our branding is finally working. I'm so proud of you, Hugo. Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
doing
See,
it.
one of my favorite things for a wizard dungeon is to have a sign that says gather, and then the wizard throws the fireball right over there, and they're already all gathered up, so it explodes, and then they get quite hurt from that. That's the
And then you have all of their stuff, so you can redecorate as you need.
yeah,
as you fit.
absolutely.
Can we circle back to DungeonCon? What the fuck is DungeonCon, man?
How would
is
you
that
do-
where like
yeah.
you all get together and just
Yeah.
just go over dungeon concepts?
Yeah.
Yes,
Really?
Well, that's where you.
We can't have you coming, 'cause then you'll know all the answers. But
I know,
I
but
mean,
where-
we
so
trade
where- I've never heard of it.
ideas.
Like, yeah,
communi-
where was the last one?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, was it in the realms or was it like somewhere on a far-fetched plane, or is this
the
something
last-
you keep tight to the chest?
It's something that I would say we keep pretty tight to the chest, but it is not on this plane. It typically takes place on the astral plane because it's a very thought-based endeavor. We're thinking a lot about dungeon design, so it's easier to project in the astral
It's
plane
a
to show
fucking
a design
wild time.
concept.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
they send you a little.
Hammered every time. I get absolutely hammered on the first night.
So they send you a little
Oh,
potion
wow.
to take you to the astral plane
Yeah.
that comes by some sort of creature, but there are some side effects. So a lot
Oh,
of the
yeah.
designs made aren't quite realistic, but
Who are the other goers? Who are the con people that are coming there to like learn how to dungeon?
well, of course you have all of your other kobold families, like of course. So there's us, the Swedes, of
Yeah,
course.
the Swedes, yeah.
But
We're very popular
We're
there.
we're very
I
very popular.
definitely can see why.
And artisan crafts, you got to find, maybe your magma guy retired. You got to find a new magma guy.
We
You know
have
how
a
hard that is? We're very lucky. Though.
We have a
very-
fantastic.
very
He's
good
some
guy.
sort. He's a fire genasi, and his name is like Magma Phoenix Ignatius, but we call him Magma PI, and he
he's
usually
so
just gets
good.
us whatever we
Yeah.
need. How else can you
How
get?
does one come up with a magma guy? Is it like a?
Well, that's the thing. Where else are you going to find 10,000 arrows or 800 candles? Like, there has to be certain places to sell in
Yes.
bulk and wholesale. In dungeon cons, where a lot of that happens.
Wow.
Where do you
Artisans.
think you're going to find? Have you ever seen one pressure plate in a store before?
I've
Ever?
never seen any pressure.
No.
plate. I thought you just
That's
designed
why you
it as
go
you
to
need it.
DungeonCon.
No, you have to get. I mean,
So there's a pressure plate guy?
there's a pressure plate guy. Yes, name's Pressure
Oh,
Plate
yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
He's quite nice.
Triple P?
Triple, yeah. So maybe you have heard a little bit of.
yes.
So see, that's the thing is Triple P has a really good team of bards behind him
He's
that
got
gets.
good branding. Oh, God.
So I'm not a big guy.
Jealous.
I'm not a big fan of bars overall or in general.
Well, they can be difficult to work with. Sometimes we try to have them make signs and like a picture of like a dwarf, like real simple. But he's painting every hair on his gosh darn beard, and it's like we just need you to draw stick figures. That's all it is. And he's trying to draw a fresco on the side of this cavern.
Yeah, that's typical of bard behavior.
Really is.
Or they're out there over embellishing things. You want them to tell a story. I pay you for this story. Next thing I know, the price is 6 times what it was last time.
No, that's also typical of
terrible.
bard behavior.
Yeah, big fish stories with bards. It's quite hard for business.
So
Finding-
Swanee, what else we got this week? Do we got any questions or anything coming in from the?
We did. So yeah, please stick around. We have some questions. People have sent in some birds with questions that they have as they start out their adventuring lives, and so we read them and try and answer them. So we have sort of an entry level one, and we have an experienced adventurer one. Do you have a preference?
I think we should start where everyone should start at the beginning. Start
At
with
the beginning?
Yeah, start with the more lower level.
All right, so we got a bird from a young man that is starting out in adventuring, and the gist of it is that this young man inherited from his father who died a legacy family sword.
Oh, I can't wait to take that.
Okay.
Well, maybe send him into the ropes dungeon first, right? Like it's like learn to crawl before you walk. Go clear out the necromancer's old crypt or some shit. So he has a magical item, right?
Well, yeah. So his father
usually
died.
a sword. It's probably a
It
sword.
got
Right?
passed on to him, but he doesn't know how to activate it. Like it's a magical sword, but nobody has given him any instruction in terms of how to activate the magic.
Whether with words or by deeds or
nothing.
by. Oh, well, he needs to immediately go slay some monsters. I say start there, right? Go slay some monsters, and then maybe hire a wizard to identify it. Or just start saying shit that your dad used to say when he stubbed his toe in the darkness.
That's what I was thinking. It's a lot of phrases that you've heard in maybe some sort of lullabies that was told to you several times as a child, like seventh son of the seventh son type thing.
Yeah, just read all that kind of stuff. Say all that stuff while you're wielding it as if you were, actually slaying a beast. And then literally go slay a beast. And if it's anything like all of the magic items that I've ever had to deal with before, it is like the more things that you kill, the more powerful that item will become.
Yeah.
And the better you are at doing whatever it is that you do, the more magical that item will actually become.
Yeah, I feel like this is a you figure it out by doing sort of a thing.
Unless if there's a cloth wrapped hilt, I will say if you unwrap the cloth sometimes, there are some people that can forget, like especially old fighters, and they'll kind of etch in the command word.
The runes will
and
be
then
there.
re-wrap the cloth around the hilt to hold on for
It's
grip.
like,
so
where you hide your key.
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
it's something.
But I
like
really
when you guys
resonate
keep your
with this
key to
question.
your house in the
Shut up.
Sorry. Sorry. No one knows.
Lucy will.
No one's gonna break into your house with Lucinda.
Nobody
there.
smart will.
No. So, but I don't know if you guys know, but Swanee's wife is one of the most powerful mages in all of Waterdeep. So I almost want to see someone break into your house one night.
It's
just to
such a
see-
mess every time somebody tries to do that. Though.
Wait, it's happened before?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So what does she do? Does she just like dissolve them or like?
It depends how much prep she has and whatever. I mean,
Wait, how
disintegrate
bad-
is easy to clean up.
Yeah, why just a broom?
What are you doing? You're okay. Boom.
Well,
I gotta get the dustpan.
Yeah, we could help you.
we could install some sort of alarm system. Do you want to tell them
Exactly.
about one of the
There's a-
options that we have available, perhaps?
Oh my gosh, we have so many.
Okay,
I mean,
all right,
honestly,
listen.
whatever you want, pressure plates, maybe some spears that come up from the sides, all three.
Okay, so I'm not opposed to this. I do have kids though, so we have to think about like.
Oh,
this.
we have like child safe traps.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, go on.
Well, the thing is, if
No, hang on. No. How does your trap discern between a child and just like a small halfling?
well, there are limitations. Like I never
I
seen
mean,
it
but
as
I
a
mean, it's
perfect.
a rounding error.
But I mean, you know who your kids are, right? It's
We
like
can always
if
make
they're.
another one.
But do we calibrate the pressure plates? Pressure plate Paul is actually quite good at
Very
having.
good at that. It's
Yeah,
weight
To be
based.
fair, I can't heal them.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess that's not.
If your kid is carrying like a large boulder, he'll probably set it off though.
Yeah, if he maybe has the laundry,
Yeah.
don't have them take the main stairway.
Yeah.
Like if they,
Or just tell him to skip the third stair. It's always the third
or if
stair.
they're cleaning up dishes.
It is always the third step.
It's
That's
always the third
that's
stair.
one tip we'll give for your adventure. Always the third
It's
stair.
always the third stair. I mean, it's a.
It's a height thing. It's the easiest place to put them.
One more. I know we have to go back to the questions, but I have one more dungeon-specific question.
Yeah.
Why do all the doors open towards us? Like if you're opening a door, none of them open inward; they all open outward. Why
Oh, it's a
is that?
building code. It's
Yeah,
quite
it's a building
it's quite
code.
easy. It
Yeah,
has
yeah.
for emergency exits in case there was like a
Dungeonability,
fire coming
accessibility
inside.
act,
You have to the Dungeon Disability Act.
For fucking safety.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. If you have a gelatinous ooze and it needs to go upstairs, you need to
Yeah.
think of some accommodations for that.
If you want to get, it's all about getting out of the building, not getting in, right? You want to get out of the dungeon if there's a fire that you didn't plan inside, you know?
Mm-hmm.
How
Plan
often do
fire.
you have to have your dungeon inspected?
It's once every 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to, but you know.
But who really checks?
Come
You
on,
know.
honestly.
So there's a code.
Yes, there's a code. It's a
Obviously,
series.
there's a code. You think we're barbarians?
Well, I'm sorry. Jeez, I didn't know. I mean, I thought part of it was making it as
Standards.
foreboding as possible. Forgive me. I guess I was being insensitive.
But it's foreboding within the limits.
All right. Oh, okay. I understand. All right. All right. Sorry, Swanee. I digress.
Next
worries.
question. Next question.
We'll
I'm so
talk
sorry.
about the pressure that I'm interested.
I see you drummed up some business coming in. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like to see.
And so you had a second part.
Second question. So this is a question from an adventurer. And they want to be anonymous, which I kind of understand why. They're about to go tackle a dungeon with a powerful wizard that occupies that dungeon, and they're getting the feeling that this wizard might be too much for them. Right, and so this person is concerned that the wizard might, just completely wipe the entire party out. This person's plan is, Like, if the wizard manages to wipe out everybody but this person, this is a long way around the question, so bear with me. To make a deal with the wizard, to agree to be cursed, and then go spread the word about the wizard, you know what I'm saying? Like, leave one survivor. The survivor's cursed.
Okay, so I understand why you had to go all the way around that question.
Yeah, it's a big ask. It's a big ask.
Man, so like, what curse?
What's
would I
the
be willing-
curse? Yeah,
what would I be willing to like?
What's the curse you'd be willing to be
live
like,
with?
I'll live with that, as opposed to, nah, just kill me.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. Well, curses are tricky.
I mean, like, I wouldn't mind like living with like a false limb, or maybe turning into like a flipper instead of a hand. Like that seems like it's pretty reasonable.
I mean, there's levels to the curse game, right?
right?
This is
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Like, or
yes.
maybe like everything you drink is like acidic.
Yeah, that's no good.
Or like they take away your taste buds.
I mean, there's so many curses, right? You can't turn right is one that could get real old.
that's a bad
that's
one.
very
But what if
bad.
you just turn left 3 times?
Well,
It
that's
takes you
exactly-
longer. Think about how much that time would add up over time. It would be. You know,
I
if
said-
you
you're
left
in a
all the
narrow-
time.
narrow space.
That'd be more like a nuisance than a curse, I guess.
Ooh, I got one. What if the curse was you had to listen to every bard's story to the end?
Yeah, kill me.
Nope,
Kill me
that's
right
all
now.
I would jump into
Every
the hellfire.
song, right, all the way to the end.
You have a magma guy?
No, yeah, I'm a magma guy.
I'm
If
telling
you
you,
have a
Magma
magma-
PI. We'll do
Very
it for a
high
reasonable
quality.
price.
Yes, high quality.
He hates that nickname, by the
He
way.
really hates it. Honestly, we should stop saying
They're
it.
very big about having their full names, and it's like,
Yeah.
geez, it just takes so much time.
So yeah, I mean, not turning left sounds like it'd be ridiculous, but like acceptable, right? What you wouldn't want is like, you know, like being cursed with like bad luck, or like a family member dies, or like, you know, something like that, like so, or something that you
Being
have to
available.
spread to someone else,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's a challenge, because then you
'Cause,
feel
like-
so bad when you spread a curse
Right,
to
so I
somebody.
knew this like there was like a pyramid scheme type curse once. Like he didn't really get cursed, but like the 2 people under him got cursed that he had to curse subsequently.
Oh,
and then
that's
he
a
didn't really
challenge.
start getting real cursed until other people below him started getting other people cursed.
That sort of
I
stacks.
like that curse.
Right.
That's a good idea.
I know that existed.
Multi-level cursing.
Yes,
That sounds pretty good,
A
yeah.
multi-level cursing idea. Right.
We should work that in.
We should try
Don't
and
work
find
that
it.
in. Don't. That's terrible. No, don't do that.
That's advanced contract
What kind
magic.
of
I haven't quite mastered that far. I need to study the texts.
That's
We
higher
have a
level.
curse guy.
It is higher level contract magic, yes.
All right. Right, as a reminder, please send us your birds to @Rod and Flagon on our bird-based communication system, or @S Maulsmith, or @Oliver Redboots, and we will get those. This is valuable information for
Yes, of
beginning
course.
adventurers.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to purchase a dungeon, just mention it loudly in taverns, and
exactly.
one bard will put you in touch with us. Just
Inevitably get back to
just
you.
will. It
Yeah.
might take some time, but you know the thing is that you know.
I also want to invite to DungeonCon. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just want to take a look. Look, I'm
Well,
out of the
we can-
game.
we
I'm
can
out of the
work
game.
something out. We can work
Maybe.
something out. I
I'm
can
out
see
of
if I
the
can put you
Yeah.
on the list. You
See?
know,
I haven't been an
If
explorer.
we
in years.
blindfold you, you can come along.
Do you have investors? Like people that own multiple dungeons?
Yes, of course. A lot of religious people, they have deep pockets. We've called them angel investors for that reason, and it's because it's like the difference between a cult and religion is that you collect a lot of that money over time as a religion. With a cult, you get it up front, but
you know
get
what
to
I just found out?
What?
Would you like- that the f***ing religions in Waterdeep don't pay taxes. I'm still a little like turned over this, right? Because Swan, on all of the f***ing money that we made over the years, had
Yes.
to pay the nickel of tax.
That's true. I didn't have to pay any treasure tax.
Really?
But it all went to the church. Like I don't have any assets.
So remember that when you're pricing out your dungeons, that maybe
I
you know, just,
That's good advice. Thank you. I appreciate that.
They can afford it. Is my point.
Oh, they definitely can.
How many temples? In every city in all of the realms, there's a temple,
Yes.
and underneath that temple, you usually a series of crypts. Underneath those crypts, there's usually a series of dungeons.
Well, the thing is that for the crypts, there's usually one big, large room that suggests there's a lot of like smaller places for bones, but what we call the bone pile is a more like space appropriate option where they just kind of dump a lot of the incomplete skeletons. Like you want to have a complete skeleton if you want to have
Where the
that.
f- are they coming up with the incomplete skeletons?
Acid damage, dragons. If someone takes a big bite.
Bit in half.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
So we only put complete
Man,
skeletons
yeah.
out in there. But what do? See, you're religious. You care about the bones. You don't want some lazy necromancer to pay me $10 for it. So you just put them in the bone pile.
See, lazy necromancers.
Yeah.
So,
No,
that-
you're right. You're not wrong.
I know.
But it's always fun when you're walking through town. You're like, oh, is that one of ours? I forget. Did we build this one? Is that one of our
Have you done
dungeons?
so many that
Oh,
you can't
so-
keep track
yes.
That is
Yes.
success right there.
Because-
that's how you make
Been
it.
doing this for a long time.
We also
It's a
go
family
check
business.
out other dungeons as
Us
well,
as-
and
yeah.
we watch like adventurers. Sometimes we go and scope out and watch adventurers
Oh,
go
that's
through.
so fun.
It's so great because
Yeah.
adventurers, they think they're so sneaky, but they're so loud. They're
so
like,
loud.
let's come up with a plan for 20
Yeah.
minutes inside this room.
Right
Oh,
out front
should
of
I
it. Oh, it's hilarious.
Should I
Go
break
that
down
You
the
go
door.
first. You go that way. You go. Yeah.
Do they always knock on the doors?
They usually knock on the doors. Yes, they sometimes will knock. I've seen one time we saw I forget what religion it was, but it was the gang of most polite clerics I've ever seen. They didn't want to swing a hammer at anyone. They knocked on all the doors. A lot of
Said
rules.
please and thank you, that kind
Said
of
please and thank you. Yes, absolutely. I knew they weren't paladins because they weren't chanting very
they're
loud.
so loud.
I've never met a
Paladins
quiet
are
paladin.
So loud.
Well, they always have to wear fucking armor too. I've never met a paladin who didn't
You don't want to see a
on
naked
wearing
paladin.
full plate armor.
But that's where the phrase comes from. Oh, I'm sweating like a paladin in the summertime.
Yeah, I get that.
One
All
is
right,
off.
so Swanee, we got anything else over there?
I think we're good. We're running up on time.
Are we running up? I think, Darren's giving us the look.
I think they figured out that we weren't human children,
Oh,
so we
no.
should probably
Yeah, you want to mask up again?
probably leave. Yes, that sounds good.
Well, you should stay. Stick around. We'll talk to Darren. We'll play a couple of games. We'll have some drinks, and
thank
we'll
you.
eat some more meatballs.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
wonderful.
all right.
Sounds like a good time. Well, thank
this
you.
is fantastic.
You really shed a lot of light on a lot of weird subjects that I can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Of course, I'm happy to.
We're always happy to sweeten the deal.
All right. And on that note, I just want to tell everybody thank you for listening. Please send your birds to Rod and Flagon or Oliver Redboots or S. Maulsmith. And also Potion Crate. Thank
Potion
you
Crate.
again, Potion Crate.
Yeah.
And until next week,
Have a good week, everybody.
bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you later.